Hi, everybody.
Hi, Fit Tribe.
Fit Tribe, we rock. You guys are doing amazing on your first week of the 6-week challenge, and we're both so proud of you.
We're super proud of everybody that's been reaching out and letting us know how you're doing, what you're doing. You guys are committed. That's what it takes, and then you're keeping yourself accountable. So we're all super proud, and we cannot wait to continue on this journey with you.
We actually brought in a special guest because a lot of you wanted to know exactly what I take and what do I do on a daily basis, and one of the things that I showed you that we didn't have time to talk about on Monday when we did our weigh-in was the fact that I'm part of the Life Vantage team, and I take this nutrient that has really kind of changed my life. As you all know or may not know, I was injured last April, a year and a half ago. And I had this really great friend in my life at the time, and he said, well, we really should get you on this because it's going to help you recover faster, and you need to be on it. This is a product for you. And so anyway, we instead of talking about it myself, because I'm not an expert yet, I will be. I am definitely, I think, a success story of the of the supplement. I'm a huge success story, and I'm definitely an advocate for it, and I'm definitely totally wholeheartedly believe in it. And if you want to take it, and if you want to try it, if you want to learn more about it, definitely you can reach out to myself, and then I can always talk to Gary, find out more. But I just wanted to bring him in to give you some of the science behind it and what really sold me on the product. So hi, Gary.
What's happening, ladies? How are you? Thanks for having me on.
We're happy to have you on.
Yeah.
Awesome. So it really boils down to this, Susan. You and I met a couple years ago at a Starbucks. I saw that you were in there working on something that looked really exciting, and it was the Spring Forward for Autism Gala that you were putting together. So I asked you a lot of questions about that. I was hoping that I could be a part of it. Unfortunately, we were out of town, but that's how our friendship started. And along the way, you started asking me, what do I do, right? What is it that I use? What do I do for a living? And I told you I was a former physical therapist. After that, I went into the evil pharmaceutical sales industry. Financially, it was great, but I didn't feel rewarded about what we were doing, right? We were waiting for people to get sick and then trying to slap a Band-Aid on at the tail end of things. And so I was personally looking for something better. And it came in the form of nutrigenomics, what we're talking about today. And that's my cycling coach, Simon, came to me and said, look, there's something that I think is going to help you recover faster from your workouts. You won't be as sore. You won't be as tired. You're going to feel like you have more energy. You're going to sleep better. I'm like, man, I'm sold. Like, tell me more. And he sent me a few clinical studies over. I read the clinical studies, and I knew it was something that I was going to be on for the rest of my life. I told my wife, I told my father-in-law, I'd already lost my mom and dad to cancer, and I didn't want to go through the same health challenges that they had gone through. So I don't want people on here to think this is some medication or something that's going to prevent disease or dysfunction or anything like that. It's not. It's to stay healthy. It's to stop the aging process, like to throw the brakes on the aging process so that you're not aging at the same rate as other people. And I know that's a huge topic. I mean, that's something, when I said those words, I just remember Susan going, okay, I'm in. I'm interested. Sign me up. How do I How do I slow that aging process? I was the same way because, I mean, I was a 40-year, almost 40. I was 39 at the time, racing against kids on the bike. And I'm like, how do I keep up with these kids?
I do want to mention you are an athlete. So he and I think that's one of the things that, one of the reasons why our friendship, we built this amazing friendship too, is we do love to be very physical, or he's an athlete himself, and so we had a lot of like, there's no time for downtime kind of thing. Like, we're both, our energy is high. So that's one of the things too that I resonated very well with Gary, as you can see.
Yeah.
He's my male twin, my male twin.
I was going to say, and Jen is the same. I mean, when you're that physically active, and I know that's part of your challenge is about physical activity, right? You're challenging people to go above and beyond what they're normally capable of doing, right? Or they think what they think they're capable of doing. You and I, the three of us know they're capable of.
Absolutely. That's what
we're pushing them beyond their boundaries. That's why it's called a challenge. If it wasn't a challenge, it would be a to-do list, right? You would just do it. But this is a challenge. This is like asking people to step up their game. And that's what I was looking to do. And so for me, what basically what it is, and to put it into the most layman terms possible, I'm going to use one or two fancy words, and that's we're biohacking through nutrigenomics. Biohacking, that means taking control of your own biology and trying to get a desired outcome, right? That might be going to bed earlier. That's joining a challenge and working out and eating healthier and changing your diet and doing things that help your biology improve, right? That's all biohacking means. There's a million different ways to do it. The way that we chose to do it is through nutrigenomics. That's using nutrition and natural compounds to affect the expression of genes in your body. You can't change your genes. They're what your parents gave you, but you can change how they're expressed. What does that mean in English? It means you can help your body so that it heals itself. We're not allowed to say we prevent, cure, or treat disease or anything like that, but if your body can start producing more of what it did when you were in your teens and 20s, and you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and I'm serious, your enzyme levels start producing like they were when you're in your 20s, the result is phenomenal. It puts the brakes on aging. You're improving your body's ability to produce its own antioxidants and anti-inflammatories. And I told Susan I would use like analogies. Why is it important? Well, I'm not talking about popping antioxidants and anti-inflammatories. That's old news. That's the old way of doing it. So here's the analogy. A huge building catches on fire. Do you want to try to put it out a cup of water at a time? That's the old way of doing it. You're going to take something that's going to hopefully change something in your body. Quit taking it. Instead, help your body make more of what it was supposed to naturally. Activate the sprinkler system in the building. You don't need the cups of water anymore. You don't need bucket brigades or buckets of water.
Right.
Activate the sprinkler system. Sprinklers come on, the fire goes out. In your body, you have a sprinkler system. You have a system in your body that's designed to help alleviate oxidation. Oxidation is what causes aging. It is aging. It's cellular aging. That's the other word for it. Inflammation. Pretty much everything we know of is due to inflammation. If you're sore after exercise, that's an inflammatory response. And if you can mute that, you don't want to eliminate it because your body needs it to heal itself, to repair itself. But if you can slow the chronic nature of it, you're slowing the overall aging process. So what do you feel? You sleep better. You wake up before your alarm clock goes off. You have more energy. For me, I was breaking power records on the bike. I didn't change my training. I was just able to train harder and to train more often without injuring my body because my body was repairing itself all along the way. I hope that makes sense. And so Susan asked me to share one other part of my story, and that's the reason I said, you've got to get on this, is as soon as she blew out her ACL when she was dancing, I got hit by a car and blew out my ACL. And then I did it snowboarding on the other knee. In both cases, I came back in half the time that my physical therapist said I would, in half the time. And again, I have a physical therapy background. I was blown away by how fast my body recovered. So I told Susan, you've got to do the same thing. Crazy thing is we had the same physical therapist. He's a good friend of both of ours, Kevin. And I remember her going, I told Kevin, and Kevin's like, absolutely, get on it. I'm like, Kevin knows. He watched me come back in no time.
Right.
And Susan even beat me back. Like I came back and I felt good at 4.5 months. She was like 2.5 months and dancing again.
Yeah.
Going on a cruise. I mean, doing things that.
According to Kevin, you might have been floating my boat, but according to Kevin, that I came back in less time than a 16-year-old soccer player, than his 16-year-old soccer players.
100%. Because I've been in the clinic when the 16-year-old soccer players are in there. 100%. So if you're watching this and you're part of the Fit Challenge, it's really a no-brainer. You're challenging your body right now to do things that it hasn't done before. You're modifying you're modifying your nutrition already. You're working on your appearance. You're working on your physical body as well. Right. Why not improve the cells so that you slow the aging process from the inside out? It's a no-brainer. It just makes sense, right? Absolutely. And we own that space. So get back with Susan. She can share some of the other benefits of Protan. She can share basically what the brochures on it. She can get you onto her website. You can go do the research. Review the research. Don't go do the research. Somebody else way smarter than all of us already did that for us.
Thank
Like,
God.
I'm not going to go do a research study. I'm going to go look at the studies that
I
were
am
done.
a
And
research
whatever.
study. I am the research study.
Here we are. Here's your research study. Look at Susan. Look at Jen. Look at myself. We are your research study. We know what we're talking about. So, yeah, it'd be great to get everybody going on it. And I'd be happy to answer individual questions as people have them. And also to get do meetings, whatever you need me to do to help educate people. It's really what it's about. We got the iPhone while the rest of the world is still using those ones that have cords on them attached to the to the wall, right? And we've got the iPhone. And when the world realizes that, they're going to stop taking and they're going to help their body make more of what it was supposed to do naturally. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Gary, thank you so much for joining us today. I know like he travels all the time, guys. Like he's constantly going to conferences and public speaking and shouting out information to really bring everybody to a healthier state. So I really appreciate you taking the time with us today, Gary.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Like anytime I can get with you is like, it's such a gift. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Jen. Great meeting you as well. And
Yeah.
let's rock and roll. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.